meeting of the Lincoln County Board of Education to order, meeting on Tuesday, December 5th, 7 p.m., and we are at the central office in Hamlin. At this time, I'm going to ask Board Member Dana Snyder to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Snyder.
You're welcome, sir.
At this time, we will have a presentation, LIC report from the principal of West Hamlin, Jerica Adkins. Principal Adkins, would you come forward, please?
Speaking to it.
Good evening.
Cody, is this hers on? I didn't hear it.
Good evening.
I can hear you, so it must work.
Good evening. Yes, it's perfect. Okay. Good evening. I'm Jerica Adkins, the principal at West Hamlin Elementary. My assistant, Mr. Joshua Barnett, is also here with me tonight, and we are going to present our LSIC report for the 23-24 school year. Our total number of professional staff at our school is 38. The number of support staff is 19. We have currently, out of our professional staff, we have 7 Apple certified teachers. Our enrollment is, we have 55 pre-K students, we have 66 kindergarten students, we have 70 first grade students, 69 second grade students, 47 third grade students, 51 fourth grade students, and 60 fifth grade students. If you look on down our special education, we have 24% special ed in our entire building. That includes our academic, our speech, our 504s. To break that down even smaller, we currently have 54 academic IEPs. We have 13 504s, and we have 35 speech-only IEPs. Our homeless, we have 108 students that are classified as homeless under our McKinney-Vento. We currently have 13 out-of-school suspensions, and currently right now our discipline referrals are at 189.
Is that for a month or
since the beginning of school.
Okay, since the beginning, okay.
And we have 0 expulsions. Our next part, our strategies to improve our test scores. At West Hamlin Elementary School, we are working diligently to improve our test scores and overall academic achievement. Currently, we have numerous programs in place. Like the rest of the county, we have dedicated to the use of the iReady to help guide our students and target deficiencies in their academic journeys. We also have trained many of our teachers on the use of Ashlock. We monitor these strategies frequently through diagnostic testing and progress monitoring. Ashlock follows systematic phonic instruction, which includes a phonemic awareness, warm-up, teaching of sound/spellings, blending routines, application and decodable text, dictation, and word work. We also now use Zorbits and Mathstoria, which are both a Carnegie programs that have recently been put into place at West Hamlin Elementary School. These programs offer many learning opportunities for the students to explore their learning styles and to add to their toolbox. It helps students with their critical thinking skills and the understanding of why. We use Reflex Math in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade daily to assist in the learning and the mastery of fact fluency. Our special education students currently use MobyMax to target skills gaps and deficiencies and to help close the gap towards proficiency. We pair these programs with the use of our Title I interventionists and co-teachers in order to individualize instruction effectively. We also offer after-school learning opportunities for our students who volunteer to do so. Our mission at West Hamlin Elementary School is to ensure success for every student by providing educational opportunities that challenge each student to achieve at a high level through a safe educational environment. We will provide a curriculum that engages, empowers, and encourages all children to reach their educational potential and prepare them to become career and college-ready learners and leaders. Our vision at West Hamlin Elementary is to provide the students with the highest quality educational experience. The school's curriculum will provide multiple avenues for instruction to acquire the skills that will meet the individual's needs to grow and learn to a career and college-ready citizen. Our school will use all available resources to complement instruction and learner needs. West Hamlin will monitor and assess student data to maintain a steady course of school improvement and for reaching school and county goals. Our three most important goals for the 23-24 school year. Our first goal is to increase achievement in ELA levels by 5% based on the West Virginia General Summative Assessment and iReady data. To achieve that goal, we are utilizing our interventionists, daily iReady practice, county support, benchmark testing, SkyWorks, StoryWorks, and SIPs. Our second goal is to increase achievement in math levels by 5% based on the West Virginia General Summative Assessment and iReady data. To achieve this goal, we are using our daily iReady practice, interventionist, county support, benchmark testing, and Carnegie coaching. Our third goal, we want to increase school-wide focus towards growth mindset to increase positive behavior throughout the school. To achieve this goal, we are using brag tags, live schools, house points, school social worker and counselor, and our TCIC training, which is our teacher-child interaction. According to our strategic plan, we have 28.31% proficiency in ELA. We have 25.3% proficiency in math. West Hamlin Elementary School is dedicated to giving our students the best educational environment possible to achieve appropriate college and career readiness. West Hamlin is proud to house multiple national board certified teachers as well as numerous Apple certified teachers. Our staff's commitment to lifelong learning is commendable. We have groups such as the Apple Vanguard team, leadership team, LSIC, PLCs, and more who are dedicated to the school-wide efforts and improvements. We would like to celebrate Melissa Schroeder, who is an Apple Distinguished Coach and has recently renewed her National Board certification. We are receiving a new playground this school year. We want to celebrate consistent growth on the GSAs for the last 3 school years. We are also celebrating that we are able to retain our school social worker, Melissa Hoover. Below, you will see our overall GSA data from the 22-23 school year. We are focused on improving our overall scores on the GSA as noted by our strategic plan. We believe the attention given to the overall school improvement this school year will lead to the improved results. Our GSA scores in ELA and math have improved each year from 2020 to present. Since 2020, math scores have raised 11% and our ELA scores have raised 8%. West Hamlin Elementary is committed to the continuation of this progress. Current benchmarks, as shown by Cambian, for this school year show 32% of students in math are at least reaching partial mastery and 41% are at least partial mastery in ELA. These scores are from November and we are expecting more improvements as the school year continues.
Will you all test again before the school year's out with this?
Our benchmarks?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we should have another benchmark coming in January.
Good.
Mm-hmm. As you can see, our PLCs and leadership team, our leadership team members are myself, Mr. Barnett, Caitlin Tomlin, Jessica Roberts, Katie Becker, Joe Shelton, Leah Adkins, Kelsey Gable, Melissa Schroeder, Tammy Bartram, and Melissa Hoover. You will also see in your folder that I have attached our PLC groups. Our PLCs have meeting times from 7:15 to 7:40 in the morning and also from 2:45 to 3:15 in the afternoons.
Do you meet all 5 days of the week? Okay.
We also have designed a calendar for each PLC to meet twice a month. Our current culture and climate of our school, with the new administration team, we are addressing positive climate by hosting activities such as staff events, rewards, and celebrations in order to promote a positive work environment while still learning the staff climate in our building. We believe we have an excellent staff who is very hardworking and dedicated to the education of students in Lincoln County. We are excited to have a social worker back in the building to help our students with their mental health and their needs. Having a trained professional to help deal with the issues in our students' lives is very important. Our staff works tirelessly to provide opportunities for student learning and success. Walkthroughs and observations show that our teachers care for their students and offer them leadership opportunities in the classroom. Climate and culture are very important, and we are committed to continuous improvement in these areas. Needs that we have previously asked for and have received. We are receiving a new playground in the spring, and we also asked in previous years about new door locks and keys for all interior doors, and we have received all keys to all doors. Things that we have asked for that still need attention. We would like to have a digital school sign. We are the only school remaining in the county that does not have a digital school sign. This would help provide information to the community as well as improving the exterior appearance of the school. Additional exterior doors having key card access. This is for safety purposes. We would like additional cameras inside the building as well as around the school grounds for safety, documentation, and liability purposes. We would like to have additional lighting around the building. This is for the safety and to help deter some of the activity that happens around the playground. Mr. Barnett, he had to be called to our school one morning at 5:30 because our cooks had went in and there was some people out by our tennis courts, and it's dark around our building. Like there's only one light that when the cooks go in, that's the only light they have. And when they came around the building, the people had gotten their vehicles and had followed them around. And on our side of the playground, it's pitch dark. There is no lights at all. So we have asked for that. We would also like to have a gate on the playground side of the school, and we'd like for it to be a manual gate to help prevent vehicles from turning off the road and driving this direction as we have students on the playground throughout the day. This would also be for student safety. We would also like to have our lines painted on our parking lot to ensure the visibility and safety for our staff parking. We have asked for a special education teacher to help with the caseload of exceptional students at West Hamlin.
That would be in addition to what you have.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yes. We would like to have a man trap at our front door for added safety. Our main entrance doors continue to get stuck and not latch. After somebody has came through the door, we have called maintenance. They have came over and checked it. I don't know if it's where the sun shines on it all the time and it doesn't latch, but it seems to be a problem when the sun is directly on those doors. They will not come to latch.
And the one on the left side, I talked to Mary about that this morning. I also talked to Jerry about it this afternoon. They've adjusted. The only thing I can suggest to Jerry, and I'm certainly not one to tell Jerry how to do his job, but we talked about this morning just going ahead and replacing that closure
Okay.
to, the actual plunger. It's a piston, and what happens is that as that piston gets hot, the oil inside that piston thickens, and it won't let it do its thing.
Okay.
So we talked about that today.
The last thing that we would like to have is loudspeakers on the outside so that staff and students can hear all the announcements throughout the building. And then we have our LSIC people listed and our list of meeting dates for the future. We have student safety practices. We continuously practice procedures for fire drills, tornado drills, and lockdowns. Classroom doors are locked when students are in the building. Exterior doors are checked multiple times during the day to ensure latching and safety.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have any questions?
No, this is well done.
Thank you.
Actually, I do.
Okay.
Tell me about your iReady practice. You've got the diagnostic
Mm-hmm.
results, and I take it that you have a procedure to address those deficiencies for those kids.
Mm-hmm.
What is that procedure?
Our teachers talk about their deficiencies in their PLCs, such as what standards are the students not reaching, and what do we need strategies and things, and I'm so sorry. Strategies and lessons and things to get those kids up to where they can meet those
And
standards.
so what do they actually do with those kids?
They pull in small group and actually have activities that base on those skills.
Okay, they're pulling them out. Now, all schools
Right.
are doing.
They're
this.
using the same formula that Joni talked about at the last meeting, where they're actually developing for all practical purposes, it's an IEP for every kid.
Yes.
And they come into that where they bring that in there and they use that diagnostic tool and they say, these are the areas that are being tested. Here are the areas of deficiency. Here are some strategies to help fix it. And now it's a matter of these guys, what they said in there, they're doing that progress monitoring.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still unclear how let's say little Johnny over here is deficient. Now, there's 15 little Johnnies in a classroom of 20.
Mm-hmm.
And we pull them out to do that. So where are we pulling them to? How are we giving them that instruction?
Well, if I can speak on that, in my classroom specifically, and I know multiple other classrooms in the building, so when we take our diagnostic and they present us with this data of who's deficient where, it actually groups our students based on, the iReady program groups our students based on who needs pulled for what deficiency. So in our school schedules, we are allotted 35 minutes a day across the board for iReady time. During that time, I have, say, 3/4 of my class on the iReady program working on their individualized instruction. I pull, say, group A, who's struggling with the recognition of letters A, B, and C. And iReady produces activities on their website that will align with what they're learning on the program. So when I pull those students, I'm working with already designed lessons, so it corresponds with what's on the iReady program to help them close those gaps.
Okay.
So they already make our groups based on what deficiencies they need, and it constantly changes.
What grade do you teach?
I teach kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
Yes.
So a kindergarten kid can get on that iReady program
Absolutely, they
and
are.
be self-driven?
So they're already preloaded on the iPad. I make them cards because you sign in with Clever and it's a little card they scan. They scan the card, they notice, one day we get on the book, one day we get on the math, they know which one to click. And I monitor through the classroom app, making sure they're remaining on task throughout the 45 or 35 minutes. Even while I'm pulling my students, I have my laptop with the classroom app open that monitors what every student's screen is on.
Okay, I'm an old dinosaur and I haven't been in school for a long time. But a kindergarten kid can't read. So how are they?
It's very individualized, so it's very cartoon based, I would say, very down to their level. So like my students, I have two students specifically that I can think of right now that they're reading the decodable text because they're at a much higher learning level. Where I have students who they get 9 bubbles on their screen and they have their headphones and it'll tell them identify the letter S. So they'll go through, they'll click those bubbles to identify the letter S. They'll do multiple activities to help them get to the letter S. And then once iReady thinks that they have mastered that skill, they will take an assessment at the end. And then if they pass, they can identify the letter S. They will move on to another letter, and there's broken down into subcategories. So there's vocabulary, informational text, phonics, phonemic awareness, and it works through those different categories, and it's all individualized. Every student's iReady is completely different.
So as a teacher, you think this is working?
I can see that I will say from my experience last year, based on my entire school, my data from last year kindergarten did not take the first diagnostic. That was, this year we have. So my diagnostic from January to May every one of my students were on green, were on green on kindergarten level by the end of kindergarten last year.
Okay, let me
Even my
ask you,
students on
I
Saturday.
don't mean to put you on the spot,
No,
but
you're
I'm
fine.
trying to understand
No,
this
you're
myself,
totally fine.
okay? Let's say you get to the end of the year
Mhm.
and that hypothetical little Johnny is still not quite on kindergarten level at the end of the year.
Mhm.
He hasn't completed what it takes to say you've graduated kindergarten,
Right.
all right? But he starts the next year and he's in the first grade.
Okay,
You give him a diagnostic and you're going to measure him according to where he should be in the beginning of the first grade year. Is that correct?
so the diagnostic goes by grade level. So like my students test at a kindergarten level, and then when they go to first grade, they will test on the first grade level. But it is they can still test at a kindergarten level, even though they're taking, that's when the teacher steps in and is like, okay, we have these deficiencies, and we need to work on closing these skill gaps based on what they're missing.
Okay,
And
that's
if Johnny
been,
scored at the kindergarten level on his I-Ready test, the I-Ready program itself will assign him still what he needs at the
Okay.
kindergarten.
Right, it's all individualized, so he won't get put on,
First grade level.
like, he won't get put on a first grade level reading text. He might not know it, his letter sound, so he's gonna be pushed back to those letter sounds, which I don't pull my students just solely based on my I-Ready data. I pull on letter sounds, phonemic awareness, by clipboard checks with Ashlot. So there's multiple avenues that we follow to pull these students, not necessarily just our I-Ready data. And if little Johnny is still struggling, he has been in SAT at this point, possibly referred for testing, retained, just to make sure that we are closing those skill gaps to make sure that he is prepared for first grade.
okay, that's been my concern with the I-Ready, not the test itself. I think it's probably the best thing that we've ever had out there. for-
Yeah, it's
for
a good
diagnosis.
diagnostic. And the program is very individualized. It really does, like even my 5-year-olds who it's hard to keep their attention for more than 5 minutes, it's very good to keep their attention and keep them locked in and involved in what the program is doing because it's at their level. It's very, it drops down and it explains it to them and it's a cartoon. It's like a video game kind of, like, in a sense.
Yeah.
So they really do enjoy
Yeah.
it.
It's been my concern all along that we always teach this kid on their
Grade.
instructional level.
Right, and
That we don't just, as it used to always be, if you didn't get kindergarten stuff, you went on to the first grade and what you
Right.
missed, you just never got it.
see, that's, I-Ready is a bit individualized, so like we said,
Okay.
if they test in a kindergarten level in first grade, they're going, which, but some of them probably are gonna test at a kindergarten level going into first grade, especially after they, the summer and they've lost some of that information, but it's going to put them on that kindergarten level, and if they start to do well, it fast tracks them, and it puts them to where they need to be, so
It's adaptive.
So it changes all the time, and like I said, no two students are on the same thing. It's a very good program to individualize.
Skill level, not grade
Thank you.
level.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Jessica Roberts.
Jessica Roberts.
Lincoln County High School
All right.
graduate.
Quite impressive, Jessica. Thank you.
Any more questions?
That's all I have.
No, but that's a good
You don't
job.
have anything else?
Good job.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Principal Atkins.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, with that, I'm gonna ask for approval of the minutes of November 21st and 28th.
I'll make that motion.
Burns, second. Wilson makes the second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And none. Takes us to the administrative section. Is there any discussion?
I got a question on G, Mr. Burnett. Is that for the system that at the Lions Club we were having all that trouble with?
Yes, that's where they were coming in and they wanted to replace all the transformers, rewire everything, put it back on single phase. It's to get the Lions Club field up to compliance.
Okay.
And they are 10,000 below anybody else that's
Really?
even approached.
Is there a timeline for that?
As soon as we can get this done, they'll get cracking.
Good.
Any other discussion? Not, I'll ask for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Ms. Story makes the motion.
Second.
Snyder seconds. All in favor of approval of administrative items, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Brings us to the finance section. Any discussion on finance? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Wilson,
Second.
Pastori, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Brings us to the personnel section. Any discussion? It's the blue sheet items. No discussion. I'll ask for a motion.
So moved.
Snyder,
I'll second.
Burns, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. That brings us, we're going to skip student discipline and, because that's going to require executive session, and go down to the comments and concerns section. And Duval update, as always, takes the lead.
Okay. All right, I had, we've gotten, things have been moving pretty quickly in the past week and a half. Was on a phone conversation actually with the gentleman from the SBA, and he was very thrilled that we had been able to make concessions on the building and redesign and move some things around in order to make it more feasible for everybody. He's looked like he's very excited about getting on board with us. He told me that day, he said, I will have you a letter of intent for the demolition today. We've approved all that. We're just waiting on the comments from the Department of Ed. So he sent me his letter that day. The next morning, I got comments from the Department of Ed. All we're waiting on is for Reclaim to sign the contract, send it back, then they'll be issued a letter to commence, and we'll get the ball rolling on that. On as far as rebidding, again, I talked to the architect, talked to the SBA. Everybody was in accordance there. We're all good to go to rebid. It will be advertised next week. The advertisement will run 2 weeks, well, actually a little longer, 2 weeks because of Christmas break. So we will have a pre-bid meeting on December 19th.
Wow.
And then the actual bid opening will be on January 18th. So we're just hoping beyond hope that things come back like they did for the demolition. I was expecting about $870,000 on the demolition, and it come in at $428,890.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that was awesome news. So I'm hoping that we get the same kind of news when it comes to building the building. And then once that's done, once the bid comes in, we do the opening of the bid, then we do an awarding. We'll have to take board action to award the bid. And then it goes, we're in the same process we are now. We've already gotten but we're a little bit ahead of the game because we already have the Department of Ed's comments back on it. And then the architect just has to address those comments. And at that point, Austin, Don, and myself will have to go back to the SBA and bring our A game and say, let them know what we have, what additional we can contribute. Right now, it's the ratio is 89-11, 89% for the SBA, 11% county funds. So we're hoping that we can keep that at as minimal as possible. Just a projection, it looks like that with everything that's been saved currently, that instead of being 16 million over, the building should come back at around 7.5 to 8 million over, is what it looks like right now. Which, in reality, if this were a year from now, if this project had just been bidded out, we'd have been in good shape because they increased the amount of allowance per square footage for new construction. It's gone from when you bid this building out the first time, new construction was the actual cost was about $411 a square foot, and the actual bid process the SBA would support was about $360 a square feet. So now it has gone up to where they've increased it to match what market value is at this point, but that doesn't help us on this project, but it will help us on future projects. So that's where we are. Things have been moving. It looks like I'm going to, be cautiously optimistic that, come the end of this month, we'll see earth moving up there at the site. And then with any kind of luck at all, we will be awarding a bid here in about a month.
Will you guys have to wait until the SBA meets to meet with them, you and Mr. Davis and
Right
Austin?
now, it looks, we don't know, that's up in the air, but I don't think so. I think that once the bids come in, because this project's been on hold, that they will go ahead and meet with us. Next Wednesday, Mr. Davis and I will be, this has nothing to do with our project, but next week on Wednesday, Mr. Davis and I will be at the state board meeting, where they will listen to, there's a couple of people signed up to speak up there, and then they'll go in and take everything in consideration, all the evidence and documents we submitted, and do their final vote on the Ranger closure.
So when they come back out, they'll make the decision, they will announce it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Lucas, were you able to pin down the amount of money that we were discussing last week in the excess levy?
Yes, it was $450 for service personnel.
For all service personnel? That was,
And that will be worked into the salary schedule and.
that was on top of what they were already getting?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so 450. That, when we add that to the 750, that brings our bus drivers up to, or maybe even above Cabell County level. Am I close on
They'll
that?
be
It's
very
gonna be
close.
in the ballpark of
Yeah.
the county that surrounds
Okay,
the
and then Cabell County will raise it again.
Maybe so, maybe
That's
not.
what
That's
they'll
good.
do.
That's good.
I got, I was thinking that I've lived long enough to know that people really kind of like to point out your faults. That's just
No
human
kidding.
nature. They don't really point out your successes. So if you want people to know your successes, you really have to kind of point them out yourself, which may be not a very good character thing to do, but nobody will know if you
They
don't.
may
So I
take
sit
away
down-
your humility badge.
Yeah, your humility is.
You give up your
You can't be
humility for your
humble.
successes.
So I sat down and I'm sure I've missed some and you all can add to this. What I deem this board's success has been in the last year and a half. And I just think it's a good time to stop and take a breather and look at things that we've done. We haven't always agreed, but the direction of this board has always been going upward. And I'd just like to point out some things that we've done in the last year and a half. First thing right out of the chute, when this board organized a year and a half ago, was we changed from the trimester to the semester, which I think there was an overwhelming support to do that. We stopped the chaotic atmosphere that was going on over there at the high school. Some of the things that we did, other people contributed to, but we were certainly a part of it. One of that was being removed from the state of emergency by the Department of Education. To me, one of the biggest things that we did was we employed a contract hearing examiner to hear the student discipline expulsion hearings. Otherwise, we'd be here every week.
Mhm.
Very expensive too.
And expensive.
We purchased the Lions Club field and we partnered and they've done a lot of work the Youth Association has to improve facilities throughout the county. That field over there is used all the time when the
Indeed.
weather is
Yes.
decent. Lots of activities going on. Again, I'd like to get those tennis courts and pickleball courts going over there as well. We accomplished the funding and installation of those athletic facilities over there at the high school, the artificial turf, and we don't have the track down yet, but it's encumbered and going to be down when we get 3 or 4 good days of weather, I guess, to do that. Unwittingly, as it began, we funded tuition costs for college-bound juniors and seniors
Again,
through the Southern Community College over there for 2 years in a row. We've done that now. So that's a big plus. We created plain language academic standard brochures for grades K through 3. I think there's a lot of work still to be done on that, but we've started to make parents a partner in the education of their kids by letting them know what their kids should be doing. We strengthened policies of student privacy regarding test results. We began this lengthy process of upgrading Lincoln County policies and taking a look at those. We created archive footage of all the board meetings, so you can go back and look at what was said and when it was said and who said it. And I found that personally to be a lot of help so far. We've established employee incentive programs for all school personnel, so that employees, service personnel, and I guess it was same for the teachers. It was possible they could get up to $1,500 additional in a year if they improve their attendance to a certain standard. Big thing, we closed Ranger Elementary. That was not an easy thing to do, but we closed that and saved not only money on upgrading that facility, but that every year that was costing us about $700,000 to operate that school with the employee-student ratio, and that is a savings every year. We're not spending $700,000 up there when we can take them to West Hamlin and accomplish that as well. I think that's a plus. I hope the state board agrees with that. Purchased playground equipment for West Hamlin, Duval, and Hamlin. Not a little bit, a lot. I can't remember the exact amount of money, but it seemed to be like close to $400,000. Nothing's happened on it yet, but we passed a resolution to the state officials for the elimination of the athletic C average rule. I'm hopeful that something's going to emerge in the spring on that. 2 or 3 of us did lobby the state legislators on the classroom aids for grades 1 through 3. Of course, that got funded. I'm not naive enough to think that our lobbying turned the tide, but it helped. We have pledged to focus on career education. We hired Mr. Barnett primarily because of that. We've increased bus driver's salary to Cabell County level, as I said. We've taken steps and put it on Mr. Barnett's evaluation to utilize the cable channel for educational purposes. We urged the effort to get homeschool kids back in the school system, and that's been about $300,000 worth of money that the system has because of that. And we've secured thousands of dollars from Delegate David Flimsy Adkins, Mayor Adkins, and Senator Mike Stewart. I've lost total of how much that was, but it's been throughout the county, probably nearing $100,000, I would think. So we've done quite a bit. That's what I just remembered about sitting down and doing this today, and I'm sure you all may come up with stuff too, but I think we've done a good job. So I'm singing our praises. With that, does anybody else have anything?
Yeah, with that, having said that we actually did something, I'll have you a resignation letter, not because I haven't loved serving on the board. I have, and you guys have been wonderful, fantastic, wonderful staff, but I have to resign because I will be running for a position that will require me to be a partisan candidate. And as you know, the Board of Education is nonpartisan, and I think we've operated that way. I think we have put aside politics. I think we've been 100% for the good of the children, and that's very rare, I believe, to find in a body. But I really do believe that everyone here has voted their conscience for the best of our children in Lincoln County. But I'll be resigning from the board, so you guys will get the privilege of selecting someone else to fill my
But we'll miss you.
shoes. Well,
We'll
thank you.
miss you.
I'll be here.
I've done my best to keep Jody on the board.
I've fussed at him enough too. I'm not gonna
But
fuss at him
he's
anymore.
got to do what he's got to do.
Yes,
And
yes, he
I
does.
certainly thank him for his service. It's been, every conversation I've had with Mr. Pistori has always been, well, what's best for the system?
It's
And,
best for the kids and the
And
employees.
it's been a level of professionalism, and this entire board has, I've never been on another school board, so I can't compare, but it's been a professional board, and it's been my pleasure to be associated with you for the last year and a half. So, with that, I'm assuming that resignation, this will be your last board meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll refer to Robin because she knows all about this stuff. With that, we would have to probably meet next Tuesday night to accept the resignation and to go into executive session to talk about a replacement for Mr. Pistori. So do we do a special call meeting or how is that?
I was gonna say, you could do a special call for Friday day.
It'd be hard on, we'd take Jeremy's day maybe. He'd have to miss work. The rest of us are old, so we could come.
You're off on Fridays, right?
Oh, are you off on Fridays?
That's his
Oh,
day off.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's off on Friday, but Friday's gonna be difficult for me.
But if you'd rather have Tuesday night,
I'm sorry.
if you would rather do Tuesday night, that's fine.
It- Yeah, it would be okay with me either time, but Tuesday night's really kind of easier to do.
Tuesday night's
Yes,
easier.
Tuesday night's easier for me.
It would be for me if we
Yeah.
could, I could make Friday, but I have some things going on
Yeah, me
that
too.
you could do that, so. So we'll have a special call for Tuesday night to accept Mr. Pistori's resignation. So if, just out of curiosity, if we don't accept it,
Can you go?
exactly what does that do?
We'll see you next Tuesday night. Okay?
But
Right.
during the course of this week, we board members will be talking one-on-one. We can't talk any more than that. And we can talk to each other back and forth and maybe expedite the Tuesday night meeting. And as far as I know, that will be the only thing on our agenda on Tuesday nights. Okay. Anybody got anything else? If not,
Now, I want to say.
I'd like a
something, David.
motion.
I want to say something.
oh, okay.
It's been a pleasure to have Jody to work with. And, you know, we're different, we came to this as a different thing, but I really am truthful in saying that this board works together, and I appreciate that.
He's not at all like what his wife said.
Oh, it's true, David. Did she tell you that story too? We're kidding.
All right. Do I have a motion and a second to enter into executive session?
So moved.
Wilson,
I'll second.
Burns, the time is 7:43. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And we will
I got it.
temporarily